Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming back. My name is Joanna and my passion is to help you get you through and past your limitations. These are going to be your messages for September. For those of you who are a regular for my channel, you'll notice I did not upload any August videos, hence why these videos are quite a bit longer. There was a lot of information that I channeled through. So if you can't watch it all at once, maybe break it into pieces. If you need to just get moving into the videos, I'll put a stamp down below so that you don't have to listen to the record to this part. But I want to say a few things. First and foremost, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being part of my channel. Thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you for always inspiring me and encouraging me to be the best at what I do. And you'll notice my work is changing. It has been changing for a while, but it's more apparent than any time before that the way I work is shifting and changing. So consequently, over the next few months, you will notice that the way my videos are coming out are a little bit different, or the way the messages are coming out in my videos are a little bit different. There seems to be a greater emphasis on healing, so there will be some energetic healing that will come through. I will talk about that more a little bit later on a different video. But more than anything, there seems to be a bit of a shift in terms of how I receive messages and also what types of messages want to come through me. So if you have watched my videos for a while, you may see a bit of a change. I feel to me, it's incredible. The change is always good. Change is not always easy. But nonetheless, I feel the way things are going to progress going forward is the messages will be maybe even much more meaningful, even though I find that they're meaningful anyways, and many of you find my messages meaningful. I feel it's going to be even more meaningful. There's going to be a lot more that I will be channeling through to you. Speaking of channeling, I have noticed more and more that I am beginning to use less and less visuals, as in cards, and much more channeling. So you will notice in some of the videos that I have cards, but I barely talk about the cards. I show them here and there, but most of the messages are channeled. I feel that's eventually how my messages will come through. They will probably be mostly channeled with maybe some visuals, some tools, but long time ago Spirit told me that eventually my work is going to consist of channeling information and not really reading cards. So you'll see that coming through more and more as time goes on. And is there anything else I wanted to say? Yes, the 6-month messages, which are on Vimeo from July until the end of this year, there's a link down there below for you. And more than anything, if this doesn't make sense to you because it is general, then listen to it down the road, or even end of September or even October. I often mention that these messages flow way beyond a certain month. So I wouldn't be surprised if the messages you hear in September cover September, October, and November, even towards the end of the year. So keep that in mind. Also, some messages may not make sense to you at all because they are general, and I can only cover so many scenarios in a general situation. With that said, if anything resonates with you, or if you feel pulled towards having more of a personal session with me, that information is down below, and I trust you know how to find me. And again, I want to thank you for being part of my channel. Without you, I wouldn't do this. My gratitude goes out to you, and I love hearing your comments. I love reading your comments, and yeah, I hope you enjoy these videos and all the other videos that follow. And with that said, let's move on into each individual sign. Hello, beautiful Pisces. These are going to be your messages for the next few weeks. So from whenever you see it until about the end of September or thereabouts. Don't be surprised if this becomes more relevant to you as time goes on. So you may not necessarily understand it right when you first hear it. nonetheless, listen to it down the road and see if it makes sense to you. All right, let me see where I want to start with this. Why don't we start with first telling you what I saw when I was kind of tuning into Piscean energy. The symbol that was given to me, or that came up to me, was the Two of Wands. And to me, this indicated that for many of you, this is a time of your life where you are either thinking, rethinking, assessing, reassessing, or determining your next steps. Now, for those of you who are tarot readers or who know cards, who read cards, these meanings, you may have different meanings, and which is fine. I'm not a tarot reader. I will always say that it's not my gift. I look at cards, but they speak to me differently. So if I show a card to you and the meaning of it is not the traditional meaning that I give, by all means go with what you feel resonates with you the most. Nonetheless, what this was indicating to me, that this is a time for many of you of assessing or reassessing your path. Path in terms of Two of Wands is often thought of as career or job. And there is an indication for some of you regarding that, yes. But this is not just career or job. This is something that you would be heavily involved in terms of your soul, in terms of your spirit, in terms of your passion. So it could be job or career, but it could also be a relationship, anything that you are passionate or that you would be passionate about. I actually heard the word calibrating and recalibrating. So although I kind of knew what these words meant, I wanted to go and get a professional meaning, which I wanted to get different words. So other words were adjusting, readjusting, assessing, or reassessing. So calibrating means assessing, carefully assessing. So the words for you over the next few weeks are calibrating or recalibrating, which means you are either assessing or reassessing a set of circumstances. And perhaps the Two of Wands that I am now seeing in my mind again is about assessing or reassessing your future going forward. I'm being shown the number 0, or the Fool symbol, which is indicative of a new beginning. But whenever I see the Fool, it always to me indicates an energy of newness, but something is beginning, but I can't quite put a finger on what it is. So it's not in a manifested form. So this is a feeling, so to speak, that there is a new beginning for many of you. And although you may not have that new beginning in your hands yet, there is a sense that something new is about to begin, which also means for many of you that something old has to be let go of. Generally, when we begin something new, it is often because we are releasing some old scenario or some old situation. The recalibrating, thank you, was also regarding a decision. And for me, the way I see it, it is about deciding, reassessing, or reassessing your decision regarding moving forward or towards what you are moving. There is an indication of future planning here. So I'm going to let that go and we'll go through the cards and see if it comes out a little bit clearer. So then I asked for, what is the theme for Pisces? And the card of Patience came out, which is the card of Temperance in reverse. In this deck, it's called Patience. And the third eye also came accompanying it, coupled with, this is the Magician, or in this case, it's called Awareness. So yet again, there is an indication of something new. And the Temperance card in reverse, to me, indicates that over the next few weeks, as you are perhaps assessing or reassessing your situation or plans for the future, you may feel hasty. You may feel hasty in needing to decide something. You may feel hasty in needing to start something. There will be a tendency towards hastiness. So if you can help it, if you have a choice or decision to make, or if you are planning something regarding your future, planning to move forward or planning to move on with some new beginning, chances are that whatever that is, either you're not ready for it yet, or it is not ready for you. It's still in the full process. It's in the full space, which means the energies are, what's the word I want to use, please? Comprising themselves in such a way that in the near future, it'll be reflected as a physical manifestation, which is really what the magician is. So can I say there is a new beginning for many of you? Yes. And for many of you, I want to say hooray. And there is an indication that you've been waiting for this new beginning for quite a long time, or it's been long coming, and I guess that's basically essentially the same thing. For some of you, and this is not going to be for very many of you, I am seeing, somebody's making a gesture here for somebody being pregnant. So the pregnancy symbol has two meanings to me. Number one, you are in the process of birthing something brand new into your life. So that's majority of you. For others of you, you are in the process of either getting pregnant or giving birth to a physical human being. And that absolutely would be an indication of a new beginning, obviously. And for those of you who there's something about impatience and expecting. What is it? If you are someone who has been trying to get pregnant for quite a while, and it's getting to the point where you're getting irritated or impatient, you know, I don't have to tell you, anyone will tell you, especially a doctor, that you just need to relax. So there is an indication here that for those of you who this makes sense, and it's not going to be very many of you, even if it's just one person, allow yourself to relax. And I have a feeling if you've been struggling for a while, there is a possibility or opportunity here, or probability that whoever you are, you're going to get pregnant. So that's not a small thing for me to say, particularly for someone who's been wanting to get pregnant and had difficulty. And I'm being shown somebody is getting pregnant or somebody's giving birth. But for majority of you, this is going to be, so you'll either give birth in the next few weeks or few months, or you will become pregnant in the next few weeks or few months, which also means if you are not wanting to get pregnant, then you make sure that you don't have an unplanned pregnancy. In other words, you know, make necessary adjustment to make sure it doesn't happen. So that's interesting. It's not going to be for many of you, but there is an indication here for some, and it's supposed to mean something. The third eye, the third chakra, is all about the third eye. So it's all about your psychic seeing. And the reason why I feel there will be a tendency towards impatience is because either you are having difficulty seeing what it is that awaits for you in the future, or you're having difficulty deciding. In other words, you're having difficulty seeing your future in your mind in terms of what it is that you are wanting to get. Does that make sense? Should I say it in a different way? If you can't see it, it's hard to manifest it. So let's use the pregnancy example. Imagine yourself being pregnant, and that could also be a metaphor. Imagine yourself being pregnant and what it feels like, and just get lost in that feeling and in that imagination of what it would feel like. Use your mind's eye. What would feel like to be pregnant or to feel pregnant. And you can substitute a job for being pregnancy. You can substitute a happy outcome. You can substitute a happier relationship. You can substitute a happy home, whatever it is. If you can't see it, it's hard. It's going to be hard for you to manifest it. So there's this tendency towards impatience here, perhaps because you're not seeing things clearly, or because you're not seeing things manifesting fast enough. You do have a new beginning. You do have what's the word I'm looking for? Magician here. So there is absolute indication of a new beginning, but it may not just happen in the next few weeks or in the month of September. Listen, there's every single indication that for majority of you, for many of you at least, there is a new beginning approaching. You're either smack in the middle of it, you are in the process of starting the new beginning, or there is a feeling, or there will be a new beginning and you don't know it. But it's not going to be sprung out of nowhere all of a sudden and boom, something is happening. I mean, it could be for one or two of you. Majority of you, this is something that has been in progress for quite some time. You have been working on this for quite a while. All right, what are you leaving behind? 3 of Wands and 2 of Swords came up in reverse. So again, you can use your own interpretation. I am going to tell you what I feel. Worries about your future, or any indecisions about your future, or what ifs about your future. If you have been struggling with trying to figure it out, that is leaving you. Either you have decided, which is the you recalibrating or reassessing, either you have decided or somebody has decided for you. The Swords, 2 of Swords in reverse indicates either an inability to make a choice or not knowing what choice to make. So any sort of hesitation you have had about choices, particularly as it pertains to your future, that is slowly but surely leaving you, which means you are coming into a much stable place with regards to whatever this choice for you is. Again, for some of you, this is going to be a career. For some of you, it's going to be change of residence. For some of you, it's going to be change of marital status or relationship status. It could be many things. But for majority of you, it's not something that's small. It's generally something that is, bigger. It's job, it's career, relationship, friendship, situation, project. That is the sort of thing, because I'm seeing the number 4. It's something that once created stability or gave you stability. So it's usually the big pillars in our lives. And I get a feeling that for most of you, it's either relationship or career or job. So what comes up in the position of what you need to take care of? Interesting, because the Queen of Wands comes up in reverse and then the Chariot. And the way it has been shown to me, so again, interpretation, you can have your own interpretation. Because this is a general message, I don't pay attention to the gender. So you might be male, you might be female, it makes no difference. I actually feel this is representing something that you are no longer connected to, or someone that you are no longer connected to. So for many of you, this represents a relationship. Now, this could be a relationship with a woman, with a man. It could be a relationship with a job or a career. But it's lost its appeal. It's lost its juice. You're no longer getting from it either what you need and what you want. And the Chariot, to me, the way it landed on this card, is indicating moving away from this situation. So I believe this is what you are leaving behind, whether you are leaving a female behind or whether you're leaving a situation behind that is no longer feeding you spiritually, emotionally, creatively. You are moving on and away from it. The Chariot is I actually like the Chariot because it is very focused. It's very consistent. It's stable. It's solid. It's very driven. So it's telling me that for the most part, in the month of September, you're going to either begin to feel sure of yourself, or you will make certain adjustments or reassessments and to your current situation, and that it's almost like it'll give your situation legs, and then you'll be able to move forward. There's something, any sort of instability, any thoughts of what if, questioning, doubt, maybe not doubt, questioning, which is I guess the same. You're leaving that behind. As you become more and more comfortable in who you are more and more comfortable in leaving a situation that no longer serves you. And again, that could be anything. So what is it that you are heading towards? The King of Coins came up, and Strength. So for those of you who, again, read cards, you're welcome to have your own interpretation. The way I see people cards is generally, especially in my private sessions, I see them as an aspect of oneself. So that is how I'm going to interpret this card. This is you. The King of Coins is you. This is someone who's very solid, someone who's stable, someone who's dependable, someone who is independent. So you may be a male or female, makes no difference. There is stability with this. There is implied stability with this. Not only financial stability, because it is the earth element, but also stability at home, stability in terms of how you feel inside. And this may represent someone in your life that will that you will strengthen a relationship with. So there may be a male in your life that you will become closer to, someone who represents stability. This could be a new boss. It could be a new person entering your life. That could be all of it. But more than anything, this is an aspect of you. This is towards which you are heading. All right. Now, remember the first card we had, or one of the first cards, was Three of Wands. So this is reassessing. This is trying to figure out the future. This is about, a little bit of head in the cloud, but it's about desires, hopes. This seems to be kind of sort of the end result, not necessarily in what you have, but how you feel. So if you've been struggling with confidence, if you've been struggling with lack of self-worth, if you have been struggling with not feeling solid, there's a pretty good indication here that this is where you're heading. Now, are you going to reach this feeling in the month of September? Maybe, maybe not. But this is, if you don't reach this state in September, let that be a reminder, this is where you're heading. So this is how you feel about yourself. This is your value system, or your value. Strength is another card. So those two cards, if you look at these, I mean, that is pretty good. That's a pretty good indication right there. Those two cards, King of Coins and Strength, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Very strong, independent, sure of yourself, solid, financially stable, stable in your relationships, stable within you, and strength on top of that. It doesn't get any better than that. It literally does not get any better than that. Where you're coming from right now is King of Cups in reverse. So many of you, this is how you feel. You do not feel in control. You feel emotionally overburdened. You feel emotionally spent. You feel done. You feel emotionally, for some of you, I hear you feel emotionally abused. I hope it's not many of you. And so this is the general state that I'm picking up for some of you. This is where you're heading. So look at the difference, and you decide which one you'd rather have. I mean, there's no contest, right? This is the winner. So what else can I tell you? Well, what's coming up here is guilt for some of you. I have a feeling some of you are either guilted or feeling guilty regarding some choice or decision that you are making or are about to make. Okay? And right away, when I feel this card, I'm getting it right in my throat right now, and it's very potent. And it's coming down to about the top of my chest. So some of you are feeling this, okay? And guilt is a nasty thing because it really doesn't do a whole lot to us in terms of positive. I mean, it is an emotion that we experience, but guilt in and of itself it's valuable because we understand it, but it doesn't really it doesn't work for us in positive ways. So the guilt is also tied to expectations. Your expectations, maybe somebody else's expectations of you, maybe expectations of your society you live in terms of what you should or shouldn't be doing. We all have these. So if you have been feeling guilt, or if guilt comes up over the next little while, whatever it is regarding, and it is regarding some sort of a choice or decision, ask yourself, where is this guilt coming from? What are the conditions inside of you? What sets of beliefs must you have in order to feel guilty? Okay, the way this card is being shown to me, the way this drawing is made, there is some shame here. So for some of you, either you're being shamed or someone is shaming you, or you feel ashamed for something that is maybe because you're different, maybe you're coming out of a closet, maybe whatever it is, there's a level of shame. So it's not going to be for everyone. Shame is not going to be for everyone, but there's few of you that's kind of that's there. And for some of you, it's almost like you feel bad for wanting what you want, and you feel guilty for wanting what you want or for needing what you want. And if you feel bad about wanting what you want, then you have to ask yourself, where does that feeling come from? Where does the feeling of feeling bad comes from? Because generally, it's not yours, it's somebody else's. Now, what is it that I wanted? What is it here that I was trying? It was something. There it is. Okay. The reason why I paused is because whatever unresolved feelings come up over the next little while, guilt, shame, inadequacy, fear of the unknown, fear of the future, which most humans have. The reason why it's coming up right now, particularly right now, is because you are clearing your path. What does that mean? So seeking karmic balance is what's coming through. Seeking karmic balance is all about clearing the past so it no longer affects you now and in the future. Generally, it's about clearing karmic stuff, things in your history. So guilt is a perfect example. If you have any guilt or feelings of shame coming up, chances are those are connected to your past and those people who come from your past, or who come from, from your past. It's coming up right now in order to see that it's still there, but most importantly, to help you acknowledge so that you can release it. Again, I'm feeling the throat here, right here. So some of you who are sensitive, you will feel this. And I feel like I'm trying to get something out, and it's very difficult for me to do that. And I feel like whatever it is, it has to be spoken. So for some of you, in order to clear your karma, so to speak, you have to be able to get something out of your system. Maybe this is something you need to voice to another in order to clear some air. Maybe this is for some of you to be truthful in what you want and not be afraid to voice it. For others of you, it is about being able to say what's important to you and not be afraid that if you say it, you're going to be guilted or shamed or somehow suppressed or rejected or whatever it is that we fear. Incidentally, I just noticed the word Pleiades, which has always been there. So for some of you, and I rarely talk about this, for some of you, you have a connection to Pleiadians. I don't think I've ever said that in a message before, so this is new information for me. But if you're meant to hear it, if you're meant to recognize it, it's supposed to be almost like a confirmation for you if you've been thinking of it for a while. Okay, so move that aside, moving the Pleiadians aside. The 6 and 3 is all about expansion and expansion, of course, letting go and balance. So by voicing and speaking things out, you not only create, it's not that you create, by voicing and speaking your truth, it's like you allow that energy to come out, and the moment it comes out, it's going out there in the world in order to bring you manifestation of it. Similar idea, if you can't see it, it's hard to manifest it. If you're not able to get it out, to express it, if you're not able to voice it, then you are stuffing it. And if you are stuffing it, if you are suppressing it, again, it's going to be hard to manifest. Whatever it is, whatever we're talking about in terms of your future, you're relieving yourself from your past karmic past. Past karmic past? Your past karma. Let's put it that way. So any connection you have to carrying burdens from your parents, which we all have, from your peers, from your society, from whatever it is that we carry, on our backs, this is, for many of you, a time of releasing those. And I have a feeling that whatever this person signifies for you, this situation that no longer gives you juice, that's also part of releasing the karmic pattern. Whatever this is, whatever this person, whatever the situation is that no longer serves you, by saying no thank you and moving on in a different direction, or choosing to move on from it or away from it, you're also breaking old patterns. So I have no idea what I'm talking about specifically, because there could be so many different versions, but those of you who are meant to hear it, you will understand it. There's a few more cards I want to go through with you. My animal deck, 3 cards came out. The first card, it's the turtle. So the turtle has many meanings. And let's just do it this way. And the stingray. They're both water signs. So we're talking about emotions here. The turtle to me symbolizes emotional safety and security. So one message here is you are working towards feeling at home, feeling good at home, or feeling like you're at home. But it's not tied to anything physical. It's how you feel about yourself. The turtle, wherever he or she goes, and that's how I always explain it, he or she carries its home on its back, which means wherever it is, it's always safe at home and at home. To me, it's a huge, huge indication that many of you are working towards that goal, feeling solid and secure within yourself. This particular turtle is depicted in green and red. Those are predominant colors of 1st and 4th chakra. There's a lot of healing going on here in terms of your inner safety, or how safe you feel and secure inside, that is tied to 1st chakra, which is all about survivability. It's all about security. So any security challenges you have, by security I mean any thoughts, any beliefs, anything that is not allowing you to feel at home, or is not helping you to feel at home within yourself, chances are there is going to be a lot of healing that will happen over the next little while. For some of you, the healing is around guilt. Okay. For some of you, the healing is around clearing things from the past and tying up loose ends and letting old karmic patterns go by the wayside. So this is a huge, huge indicator here. Another message of turtle is slow and steady. So this is perfectly aligning with the temperance card in reverse, because slow and steady is kind of opposite of temperance in reverse. So if you have any thoughts of hastiness, or you're frustrated because things are not moving fast enough, or you're frustrated in general regarding whatever this is for you, always remember slow and steady makes it home. Slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. So that's one message. The stingray is all about having a backbone. notice this thing right here. There's all the different colors of chakra, if you know what a chakra is, and it's all in alignment. So what this is telling me is that emotionally speaking, you are realigning back to your old self, which means realigning back to your old self. So I'm going to let that just kind of sink in and notice what comes for you when I say that realignment to your old self. For me, it means that whatever it is that you are seeking, you once had it, but then you lost it. Either you gave it away, either it was taken from you, either just kind of went by the wayside. However, whatever that is and however it is, it has exited your life. You are getting to a point where you are reclaiming that back, okay? That also means that you are in transition in getting more of what you want, or you're in transition towards getting more of what you want, which also means you have to let go of some old beliefs you have. Guilt will certainly not help you getting what you want. Being stuck in old patterns that are very much karmically connected is not going to help you what you want. Seeing things from a different perspective and from a higher perspective, like one of an ego, that will definitely put you more in helping you align with more of what you want. So this is another animal. This is another animal that comes through you. Sorry, I'm having difficulty expressing it. And it's all about, well, like the ego, being able to see from a bigger perspective, from a higher perspective. It's also about aim, knowing what your aim is. And when I say aim, it's having a clear intention. If your intention is to get a new job, that may not be clear enough intention. If your intention is to get a job where you feel solid, secure, and safe financially, well, then that's a much clearer intention. Therefore, if that is your intention, then generally you're not going not to take a job that doesn't fit that intention. So that's just an example of intention being aligned with your intention. Why do I talk about intention? Because at this time, it's especially important to know what it is that you are after. Why? Because sometimes we get confused, or you in this case, and maybe it's because you've been, things haven't been clear and you've been questioning things a lot, and you've been wondering and doubting, and sometimes we get lost. But as long as we remain in the know of what our aim is, of what our intention is, even though we may get lost once in a while, coming back to it allows us to get back on track, okay? I'm saying this for a reason to some of you. I'm trying not to logically look at it, be too logical about it right now, because I'm trying to kind of just channel, but this is going to mean something to some of you. Last but not least, the Atlantean era is another card that comes through. To me, when I see this card, there is a certain feel of rigidity, okay? And I believe this is what you are leaving behind. Any sort of conformity to the past, or conformity to shoulds, anything that is tied to restriction I'm going to call it restriction, or being stuck in a box. And this is, of course, beliefs. This is what you are letting go of. The 4 and 8 is obviously 12. 12 comes to number 3. So this is all about expanding your ability to create by looking at what you think and managing your thinking differently. So how do you manage thinking? How do you manage thinking? What does that mean? You manage thinking by reassessing your values. Your opinions are based on your values. When the value of you is high, your opinion of you is also high. Okay. And I guess when your opinion of you is high, then you have certain expectations of life. But I'm not talking about your opinion being high, and therefore you are someone who is entitled. That's not what I mean. This is about value and about worth and about knowing that you are worth more than perhaps what you're getting right now. Okay. So it's getting past rigid thinking and rigid beliefs. What else do I see about this message here? For some of you, this is letting go of doing things for others. And we all do it once in a while in our life. That's just the way it is. As long as we kind of get back to, to what we need to do and, make sure that we always looking for ourselves, then that's fine. There's not a problem there. This is about if you continually do things for others, or if you do things because somebody said so, or because somebody says you should do this or you should do that, or you feel guilty, for example. If this has been a theme for you, I feel you are ready to let that go. You are ready to reclaim your own truth, and as a result, you might disappoint few people. Why? Not because you want to disappoint them, because you want them to feel bad, but because you're coming to a point where you're no longer willing to sacrifice your own happiness, and therefore, having done some things, you may now stop doing those things, and some people may be disappointed. Okay. And that's just the truth of it. Sometimes that happens. So you're going to have to decide in your own situation, if it's worth it, and if you are worth it, and if your future and your happiness is worth it. Is there anything I want to say before I leave? Here's what I want to say, and I'm trying not to interpret this. Curiosity never killed a cat, but it got him places. So I'm not going to interpret that, because I think that there's a sense of humor in this. And actually, I'm going to interpret it. To me, it feels like be guided by your curiosity more so than your fear. And curiosity can take you places. Fear usually keeps you where you are. So chew on that a little bit and see what that means to you. But I kind of feel that's a very interesting way of putting it. The last thing I want to leave with you is somehow the month of September and the month of July are connected for you, for some of you at least. And I don't know how they're connected. There's obviously a connection for some of you, July and September. And either for some of you, decision transpired in July, you decided something in July, and in September, you're going to start seeing the results of that decision. Or something transpired in July, maybe you found something out, maybe you realized something in July, and in September, you're starting to put pieces together to actually, go through whatever you realized in July. So it's a little bit convoluted, but I have a feeling you will know what I'm talking about. And it has to do with decision. I'm being shown the number 2. Okay. And I think that's all I have. We're at 39 minutes. So with having said all that, I hope this was helpful. If it makes no sense to you at the beginning, I can almost promise you that it's going to make sense to you in a few weeks. This is not just for September. I am recording this in the middle of August, so if you've been feeling this in August, that's great too, but there is really no time limit. Whenever you hear it, you're supposed to hear it. I do wish you best of luck with whatever decision you are making, and it looks like it's a decision towards your freedom. So it's not a small thing for many of you that you are deciding, and this is the time. This is the time to make those choices and make those decisions. For those of you who are becoming pregnant or who are pregnant or who have just become pregnant, congratulations to you. And for those of you who are just about to have a baby, congratulations to you as well, particularly if you've been waiting for this for a very long time. And with that said, of course, if you would like a private session with me, that information is down below for you. Don't forget the longer forecast, 6 months forecast, is also on Vimeo for you from July until the end of this year, so it may bring you even more information. And with that said, I wish you a wonderful month of end of August and September, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.